Alright, so today I'm going to be ranking Swans. I've been meaning to do this for a while, but I've been putting it off because this is probably going to be my longest video to date. Uh, yeah, a few quick notes before. I'm including the Swans debut EP. Yeah, I'm also including the Young God EP. I also have two live albums thrown in here, the No Wave one and Swans Are Dead. And I also included the German companion, I think it's German, yeah, German companion piece to Great Annihilator and soundtracks. Getting into the ranking though, we have three bad albums to start us off with, like three straight bad albums that I really don't like. They all have problems, they're all on the same level for me. But if I had to put one at the bottom, I'd probably put Cop. Yeah, it's just really boring, man. It's an absolute snooze fest. It's just a bunch of boring, sludgy, heavy music. I just don't like it whatsoever. Yeah, the title track could have been a really big highlight for me, but it's like freaking 8 minutes long. Like, why, dude? If it was like 3 or 4 minutes long, it could have been a really great Swan song. Above that, though, we do have Young God EP. It's basically just shorter Cop. Really, like, same problems. That's really all I gotta say. It's just shorter, and I'd probably rather re-listen to it over Cop. I will say, though, both Cop and Young God demonstrate Michael Gira in a very strange point lyrically because it's very horrorcore for me. I mean, like, you just read some of those lyrics, especially on the second track on Young God EP, and you're like, whoa, dude, this is really dark. Yeah, that's really the only plus to both of these albums, though. Yeah, and then moving above Young God, we have Leaving Meaning. This thing's such a snooze, man. After the Glowing Man, it sounds like the worst part of Glowing Man put into an album. All the songs on here are like 10 minutes long. There's really no highlights for me here. I think the only song on here that I'd ever go back to and be like, oh, this is a good song is Aniline. Other than that, though, this album sucks. In all honesty, I probably have it under Cop. It's a really bad album. Honestly, yeah, it's under Cop. I really hate this album. I hate it so much. Like, what is this good song? I guess like there's songs on here where I'm like, there could be a good song on here in the back half where I'm just like, oh, this is fantastic. But man, that first half wears you out. The Sun song is absolutely horrendous, man. I hate that song so much, man. Every song on here follows the same structure, and it does not work whatsoever. This album also has My Phantom Limb, which is just a horrible song. I hate it so much. Yeah, actually, Leaving Meaning's a 1 out of 10. I hate this album so much. Is it a 0? No, it's not a 0. Stop tripping. You're just being negative. No, Leaving Meaning is really bad. It's a 1 out of 10, though. So yeah, Leaving Meaning 1, Cop 2, Young God 2. I just improvised that right now. But moving up into E tier, though, we do have the Swans debut EP. It sounds like I'm listening to music through earbuds that are like hovering right outside my ears, like they're not even inside. So the production quality is very bad. That being said, though, it's kind of tame. It's really nothing special. I listened to it once in one ear, out the other. Yeah, 3 out of 10. Really nothing special for me. Above that, though, we do have Love of Life. This thing's been growing off me. There's some albums on here that I originally had a little higher, but they just keep growing off me as time goes on. Love of Life is just We Have White Light at Home. Really nothing more than that. Similar sounding songs to me. Like, all the songs kind of sound, as I said, similar to White Light. And yeah, it's like really nothing special here. There's a song on here where I remember there was like a girl, she started talking. I was like, oh, I like this song because it kind of felt oddly nostalgic. But other than that, I really can't pick any songs out of here and be like, oh, this song was good and this song was good. If you're listening to Love of Life on streaming, just type in Love of Life in the search bar so you don't have to listen to the full freaking like 2 hour deluxe album. Yeah, Love of Life is like a 4 out of 10. Moving up, though, we do have, or above Love of Life, we have Holy Money. This is just a worse version of Greed. It's like you have songs from Greed on here, and they're worse. It's just like, why are you doing this, man? Like, I'm pretty sure Time is Money and Fool, like, get part 2s on Holy Money. It just doesn't make sense to me, man. Yeah, it's still fine, though. It's just whatever. Yeah, nothing much more to say here. It's like another 4 out of 10 for me. Moving up, though, into D tier, we do have My Father Will Guide Me Up a Rope to the Sky, I think. Yeah, it's just a better version of Leaving Meaning, man. Before Leaving Meaning. Nothing really more special to say here. Jim is a good song. It's a really good song. You People Make Me Sick is another good song. It's just some decent post-rock music. Really nothing special here. Like 5 out of 10. Actually, when I think about it, I do have an album under here. I'm doing a lot of improvisation here when I start talking about things. Certain things grow on me and certain things grow off me. Yeah, actually, I'm gonna put Greed. I was gonna put it right above My Father, but I'm gonna put it right under. But Greed is a good change in sound after Cop and Filth. I think the first two albums and Young God EP get really tiring for me. It's just like really draining music to listen to, and then you get into the more piano jarbo influence here, and it does really help for me. I think it's much more intriguing, much more how do I put it? It keeps me more focused, not focused, more interested, and like I'm paying attention to the music now. You know, Time Is Money and Fool Are Great. Those are good songs, really good songs. Yeah, Greed is a 5 out of 10. My Father is like a 6 out of 10. Yeah, yeah, that looks about right. Moving into C tier though, we have kind of a hot take here. We got Filth. In all honesty, man, I think No Wave Swans is probably their weakest era to date. It's just a lot of sludge to me. But Filth is pretty great, man. Consistent track list, and but in all honesty, it kind of sounds like one long song, and it's really hard to pick out highlights. I think Big Strong Boss is a funny song though. I like how kind of frantic Michael Guerra's performance is on it. He's just kind of like, oh, da 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 da, oh. Um, Stay Here is a very fantastic song to me. It was the first Swan song that, like, I think it was either Screenshot or Stay Here, where I listened to it, like, fully. And Stay Here just had me going, like, whoa, dude. Like, I was banging my head real hard. Yeah, it's a fantastic song. I think the only skip on here is the closer. I'm pretty sure it's called Gang. Other than that, though, Filth is just a pretty consistent listen. It's like a 7 out of 10 for me. The only album in C tier. Now, it might look like I kind of hate Swans. You'll see, man, because starting up in B tier, we got the No Wave Live album. I don't know if I could say its name, man. But yeah, this album is freaking crazy. I recommend you listen to this on low volume, like probably 1 volume, because it is super just exhausting. It's such an exhausting listen. When I listen to this, I picture like just this dark like concert outside, and there's just one light on stage and it's on like the band, but you can barely see them. You can barely see anything, and you're just like laying on the floor. Yeah, the live album is really heavy. Coward is like top tier Swans, man. That song is so good. Michael Guerra's performances on here are super strained. They sound super exhausted. This whole album is, as I said, exhausting. Yeah, Public Blank is a good idea. Is a freaking 8 out of 10. Fantastic album, or just a really great one. Above it, though, we do have the German companion Die Tour Ist Zu. I don't want to. Man, I butchered that super hard, but yeah, this thing's pretty enjoyable. It's a fun little listen. It's just rehashes of songs off of Great Annihilator and soundtracks. I remember I was listening to the two-part and I'm like, this is pretty weird. And then Helpless Child just starts playing and I'm like, wait, huh? Yeah, it's a fun little album though. I like MF, YRP, as I said, the two-parter and the reprise song. Those are pretty good. Yeah, it's another 8 out of 10 for me. Moving up into A tier though, we do have Children of God. This album's friggin' crazy, dude. After listening to Holy Money, you're just like, whoa. Because it's such a huge change. I mean, you hear New Mind and you're like, okay, just better production. It just has better production. And then you hear like songs like In My Garden and you're like, whoa, dude, hold on. I do like the more mellow tracks on here. But yeah, I do like how it demonstrates kind of like these growing pains for Swans. I mean, imagine listening to Filth and then you listen to White Light from the Mouth of Infinity. That's very polarizing to me. Children of God is like an 8 or 9 out of 10. It's pretty freaking great, man. Pretty great album. As I said, I do like the more mellow tracks, though. Above Children of God, though, we have probably this might be the hottest take in the entire video. Like, there's really two big hot takes on here for me, but we have right above Children of God, The Glowing Man. The Glowing Man, as I said, I think I said this with Leaving Meaning. Leaving Meaning really damaged my first impression of The Glowing Man. But on re-listen, The Glowing Man really grew on me, and then it's kind of growing off of me as time goes on. I really love the title track, and I like the shorter tracks on here. But man, I'd say like a quarter of this album really sucks, and that quarter being Frankie M. Frankie M is just Leaving Meaning, man. It sucks. It is just drone. It's like, and then crescendo. Wow, you should care now. I don't care, dude. Frankie M sucks. It's such a straining song to listen to. But yeah, this album kind of gets repetitive, if I'm gonna be honest. The crescendo core nature of this album really brings it down for me. It's still a light 9 though. It's kind of an experience, but it's kind of troubled. As I said, 9 out of 10. Moving up though, we got White Light from the Mouth of Infinity. This album's pretty great, man. It's consistently great. There are no big highlights for me though. A lot of the songs on here sound very samey, and I can kind of get behind albums like that. It's very enjoyable, very fun album. Yeah, it's fun, enjoyable music to listen to. Nothing really more to say. Above that, though, we have what I think might be the hottest take. Wait, no, my bad. White Light is a 9 out of 10. My bad. Above White Light, though, we have The Burning World, which is the hottest take in the entire video. Yeah, Burning World is so underrated, man. I think so many. I don't know why anybody sleeps on this album. Like, you listen to those first few albums, and then you listen to The Burning World, and it is just such a change up in sound and style. Man, I love The Burning World so much, man. It is super nostalgic to me for some reason. I don't know why. It has this very mellow atmosphere and sound that I adore. It has some top tier Swan songs on here like Goddamn the Sun and Can't Find My Way Home. It does have some weak tracks on here for me, particularly like the weirder sounding tracks. But yeah, this album's fantastic, man, and super slept on in Swan's catalog. 9 out of 10. Above that, though, these two albums are kind of going back and forth for me, man. In all honesty, though, I'm feeling one over the other, and I'm gonna put Great Annihilator right above Burning World. Sorry, I keep stuttering. It's just a lot of albums to keep track of. But yeah, Great Annihilator is probably the most fun. No, wait, it's not the most fun. I'd say it's like the second most fun Swans album to listen to, man. It's super enjoyable. It's just a bunch of alt rock or alt goth rock tunes, man. Super fun album to listen to. Got tracks on here like Mother's Milk, Out, Mother Father, Celebrity Lifestyle. Just, it doesn't stop, man. It's just super consistent. It's basically just a better version. It's just a better, more industrial version of White Light. I did listen to the remaster, mainly just because I put on the first song from the original, and I was like, man, I don't want to listen to this one. So I just listened to the remaster, and it sounds much, much better to me. Yeah, it's a really great album under Swan's belt. I'm gonna have to give Great Annihilator a 9. Above Great Annihilator, though, we have an album that's been growing on me. I think on re-listen, this one really just kind of clicked with me. We have The Beggar. The Beggar's really good, man. I thought Swans were gonna just suck after Leaving Meaning. I was so nervous to listen to The Beggar. And then I listened to The Beggar and I'm like, man, this is fantastic. It's super meditative. It just has a sense of impending doom over it. It's kind of like, you're gonna die. Yeah, you got tracks on here like Beggar Lover 3. Just, wow, man. You got the title track and Michael Is Done. Other big highlights for me. Just fantastic album, man. Just an experience. Another 9 out of 10. Above that, though, we have an album that I desperately wanted to love more. We have Swans Are Dead. This could actually go on S tier, if I'm going to be honest with you. But, yeah, it kind of goes back and forth for me. The first half of this thing might have been the best album I've ever heard in my entire life. I'm not kidding when I say that. It if it was split up into two parts, that first part is easily at the least a top 3 album of all time for me. I don't even care. There's no skips on that first half. There's no weak songs on that first half. There's no like break on that first half. It is just relentlessly loud and booming. You got tracks on there like I Crawled, Blood Promise, Feel Happiness, Hypo Girl, Blood on Your Hands. It takes songs from Great Annihilate. It takes just songs from all throughout Swans' catalog and makes it so much better. Like Hypo Girl's a skip on soundtracks, but they made it sound so much better, man. I Crawled, another weak song by Swans, but they make it so grueling and fantastic. It is so good. The first half of this album is a masterpiece. And then you get into the last half and it's like a C tier Swans album. And you're like, what is going on, dude? Like, that back half is so disappointing. It is so disappointing. Like, I cannot stress, like, the first half is so good, man. It is so good. And then the back half drags, man. It is, like, you have songs in there like The Sound and Helpless Child, which are fantastic Swan songs, but they just sound like the studio versions. When I saw that The Sound was on here, I was like, yes, because The Sound is one of my favorites off of soundtracks. And then I hear it and I'm like, man, I could just listen to the studio version, you know, it sounds better. It just, there's really no variation here. When they're not giving you these crescendos, they're giving you kind of boring music, man. Like, that's what the back half is. It's kind of boring. Like, it's super weak, man. It's like OK Computer to me, where the first half is peak music. You're like, wow. And then the back half is like noticeably weaker. Swans Are Dead is another 9 for me, man. It's super, super hard to think about to me. It's really hard to think about because I love that first half so much, man. I love it. But that back half is very weak. As I said, 9 out of 10. Moving up into the S tier, we got the masterpieces. We got the fantastic albums. All of these go back and forth for me. Like, they're all on the same level for me. I can't place one above the other. They're all fantastic in their own right. So yeah, I'm just going to talk about them, man. I guess I'm going to put Seer at 3. They're all, as I said, they're all on the same level for me. But yeah, the Seer is a freaking experience, man. It is so good. You got tracks on here like A Piece of the Sky, Lunacy, the title track, Song for a Warrior, the freaking Return of the Seer, just 93 Avenue Blues. Oh my god, dude. This album is just fantastic. All those tracks are like S tier Swans, man. It just doesn't let up. I used to not like this one as much. I mean, like, on first listen, I was baffled. I was like, man, it in one ear, out the other. I had no idea what to think about this album. It blew me away. On re-listen, it's kind of the same, except I was taking notes while listening. Yeah, this album's fantastic, man. A Piece of the Sky is one of the most beautiful Swan songs ever. Probably my favorite off of here. It has bangers, it has emotional ballads, and then it has 93 Avenue Blues. I mean, like, dude, that album rips so hard. I don't know why people say it's scary, dude. That album bangs. Or that song bangs. Yeah, Seer's a 10, dude. Fantastic record. Above it, though, I guess we have soundtracks, man. Yeah, soundtracks, it speaks for itself, man. It's like, dude, I was super nervous going into this because I was like, man, what if I don't like this album? What if it's too long? And well, I think the last 2 tracks on here, YRP2 and Surrogate Drone, are kind of just filler at the end. I think it should have totally ended at the Final Feast or whatever, Final Sacrifice. This album has easily some of Swan's best songs, like The Sound, as I said with Swans Are Dead. And probably my favorite Swan song, if I'm going to be honest with you, How They Suffer. Yeah, that song just, that song just hits home, man. It's so dark and depressing, and just, I love that song too, so much, man. You also have Animus, you have Volcano, you have I Was a Prisoner in Your Skull, you got YRP, you got freaking Yum Yab Killers or whatever. Oh my god, man. It is just it's it's hard to keep track of a long album with a bunch of songs. It is just such a whack listen. I will say though that the back like third, where it's just trying to be ooh spooky, it suffers from just sounding like, as I said, ooh I'm spooky, I'm scary. But yeah, it's soundtracks for the blind, man. What do you expect? Like I don't really know what else to say. It's a 10, man. Fantastic record. At number one, though, I guess we have To Be Kind. Yeah, as I said, these three albums go back and forth for me, but To Be Kind's fantastic, man. This album is just like, I think, while soundtracks and Sierra are experiences, this is the most fun I've ever had with a Swans album. Like, dude, Screenshot, Little God in My Hands, Just a Little Boy, Oxygen, Kirsten Supine, She Loves Us, Nathalie Neal, the title track. It doesn't get much better than this, man. You have Swans bangers on here, and then you also, but you, you have big Swans bangers. Or the two-parter track. That song's crazy, man. This album's insane, dude. This album's insane. But it does have some weaker tracks. Like, as I said, I did list these tracks off, but like Nathalie Neal, She Loves Us, and the title track are kind of weak, if I'm going to be honest with you. Um, but and the things that we do, that's a weaker song on here. That's probably the weakest track off of here. But this album has just bangers, man. It is like this, despite it having weaker tracks, it has no skips whatsoever on here. Like I think, as I said, like I think Soundtracks has like maybe one or two skips, and the Seer has like Wolf on it. Like that's just a 1 minute song. But To Be Kind has like no bad songs on it. The weakest song on here, as I said, The Things That We Do, is like just good. But everything else is like fantastic. Yeah, all these albums go back and forth for me, man. These three albums are just all tens, man. All 10 out of 10s. Fantastic records. But yeah, there's my Swans ranking, man. I hope share your rankings in the comments, man. If this video does well, maybe I'll do a redo where I include the Michael Gira solo stuff and Angels of Light. As I said, share your rankings. Sorry if I was stuttering a lot, man. This album, this band's discography is very tiring to me. I hope you enjoyed the video. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.